Welcome to Hill's Garden. Here at Hill's Garden, seeds become life. Today we are going to talk about waste disposal in South Korea. So basically there are three different ways of different kinds of waste, major types of waste in Korea. First are the recyclable wastes. Second are the recyclable non-food waste. And also the second is the general waste where you cannot recycle but they're also included in the food waste. And the third one is the food waste. So for the recyclable non-food waste, we do not have specific waste or specific container. We just dump them into different bags and you can just mix them, because later when we go outside we will segregate them into different types of waste, to either plastic, glass or cans, or vinyl bags or whatever that is. And so we have here our recyclable food waste. We have like this milk, paper bags, this donut container, plastic container or PET plastics, these paper boxes, and other stuff there. And we have the general waste. So different regions in Korea have different bag colors. So in our region here, we have this yellow, and when you go to the mart, you will have different. You can buy this in. It's not free, okay, and it's also expensive. So they're trying to get money from your waste, and also try to encourage citizens not to, or try to recycle waste as much as possible. And so here in our case we have yellow bags. You can buy this in the marts, you can buy this in big grocery stores, and also in other regions you can have green color, pink color. So in every kind of, in the Philippines we call it barangay or districts, you will have different, so the districts are color coded. So when you throw this somewhere in another district, you go to visit another district and you have this color, a different colored bag, they will think, oh, this is a different, the waste from different districts, so they will not throw that. So be sure to use your own, the color of your own district, if you will. So yeah. And so this kind of bag is for our general waste, and this is not food waste and non-recyclable waste. So we will throw this in a different bin. So, and also the third one is our food waste, and this is very interesting because I have a very interesting experience when I first came in South Korea in 2006, where I wasn't really aware about how the Korean food waste disposal system was back then. So I just mixed the food waste with general waste and just dumped them into the dumpster. And when the garbage collector came, and they were very upset, and they wanted to fine us with 1 million won, or that is equivalent to $1,000 or roughly about almost 50,000 pesos for just one offense. But our boss tried to negotiate with them and told them, the garbage collectors, that we were new to South Korea and we were not aware about the system, and so they forgave us and just warned us not to do that again. So that's how it's really serious here. So that's my experience about food waste here in South Korea. So I want to talk about food waste, what we will really focus today. So we have different for food waste. We also have a different bag. In our case, we have this orange bag, and we have different sizes. This is you will have your 3-liter bag. So this is a 3-liter food waste bag, where the garbage collector will collect this once you dump there somewhere. They will collect this and they will process this somewhere in a processing plant, where they will get the moisture and then turn them into fertilizers or biofuel, or like biogas, so methane gas, and then turn that into electricity or power. And so there's a really good system here in South Korea, but it wasn't really like that back then. In 1995, only 2% of the food waste in South Korea were recycled. Only 2%, but now it's as much as 95%. And it's very efficient here in Korea in terms of food waste recycling. If you if you have been to Korea and if you have tried going to the Korean restaurants or eating Korean food, they have a very different culture about dining culture. When you have your main dish and they serve you a lot of side dishes, which they call panchan, and more often than not, customers could not eat all these panchans right in one meal, so they would usually end up in the dumpster. And so this is the reason why Korea has one of the largest food waste in the world, even higher than the US and in European countries. They have about 132, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just get my note here. Yes, they have 130 kilograms per person per year, 130 kilograms of food waste. But the Korean government had did something radical to change that. So they placed very high-tech collecting systems in different cities where they would make it into a currency. And so one system here in this city where we live in, this is a new city. It's really urban designed, well designed. So they have a great collections, food waste and general waste collection system. So you have this card here where you go to the machine and then you just tap this card and this machine opens, and then you will just throw your garbage there. And so this is really interesting because once your garbage is collected, it will be processed somewhere. There's underground, a lot of conveyor system from collecting all your garbage and brought into this processing plant where they will be processed into fertilizers or biogas or some other stuff. So once you go around this city, this is a huge city where we are in. It's a kind of urban, suburban city, a suburb of Seoul, and somewhere there's a big processing plant to process all this food waste. So I'm not sure, but I heard from some citizens or some residents in this city that you will have some incentives if you use this card and throw your food waste there. I don't know if it's really incentives or you have to pay something for the processing. But I heard that once the food waste is processed into gas and used to electricity, it will be connected to the main grid, power grid, and so there's some kind of incentives every time you throw food waste. But one way of throwing garbage also is, which the Korean government is also promoting, is to make your own home compost system. So that is what we are doing now here at Hills Garden. We try to make our own compost bins so we can utilize them to fertilize our own plants. So we have here this bag. So different cities will have different colors, or different regions, districts in Seoul or municipalities will have different colored bags, and you have different sizes as well. So restaurants usually have these huge bags, and also different houses, or here in Korea they also have this kind of basket or bin. It's garbage collection or food waste collection bin, and you can buy them in groceries or in different marts where you can open and you will have this another kind of draining basket here inside where it opens. All the liquid will just drip down, and you will have the bit drained food waste here, so you can easily compost and throw them later. You can throw them into this plastic bag and dump them into the food waste dumpster, and also you can use this for your composting. So today we are going to show you how to throw these different garbage trashes here in our neighborhood, and mostly we will go to the greenhouse later and show you how to dump our food waste. Instead of dumping them into the food waste bins here in our neighborhood, we rather collect them and put them into our plants, make a compost, and use them to fertilize in our organically cultivated plants in our greenhouse at Hills Garden. So why don't you come follow me as we throw all these different waste here in our neighborhood. Okay, so we are now disposing our recyclables. So we have 3 bins here. This is for the plastic and for cans. This is for paper. and this is for the plastic bags. So for this type of plastic, for PET plastic, we throw them here, and this kind of vinyl bags here, and this paper, you see? Yes, this is the paper. This one. So we're going to recycle this again. So we are now here at the one region in our neighborhood, just next block where we live in, and you can see many of these kind of machines around this neighborhood, where you have this kind of like like a refrigerator sized machines. This one, the orange colored door, is for the food waste, and if you come closer here, this one is for the general purpose or general waste. And if you look here, it says 50 liters below, so you cannot throw bags bigger than 50 liters. And for the food waste, its limit is 20 liters. So what we do here is we have this card, and we tap here on the RF card. So this is an RFID. So you just tap your card and you hear that sound, and it will open. Just wait, and if you come closer, you can look at what's inside here. Just be careful not to drop your phone inside. Okay, so that's how dirty it is there inside. So you can just throw this bag in here, but just for demo, because we're not going to throw this, we're going to put this one in our bag here. So we have another container, so we'll put this one here, so it just automatically closes. So for this, we're going to throw our general waste here. So we also tap here, and it says it's possible, you can use, so it will open, and then just drop inside, and then you just press close, and it will close, and it will be collected down there. And there's a conveyor system around this neighborhood, this whole city. They'll collect all this trash to one processing plant somewhere around this new city. So what we will do, we will show you later what to do with our food waste. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. Good morning, welcome back to Hill's Garden. Today I'm gonna show you what we can do with our food waste at home. So at home we have this basket. You can buy this basket in your local shops, or if you go visit Daiso, you can get this type of basket in Daiso. So I got this from Daiso last time. So this is where you have this little thing here that can drain all the water or the liquid waste. Can you come closer please here? If you look at here, there, the waste. And so this is kind of not so dry, but it's drained of liquid. So what we do, we collect all our food waste at home, and we collect them here in our compost basket or compost bin. Or it's not a pit actually, so we just modified that. I will show you later or next time in our next video how to make this. We created several holes at the bottom of this vat. So here, if you can see, come closer, this is what we do every weekend. So we just throw our food waste here in. We try to mix them. And it's really nice to cover them with soil after dumping them here. So you can see there are a lot of different kinds of organisms here, larvae, pupae, and yes, and also it's nice to cover them so the moisture would be retained inside, and we can have good growth of our microorganisms. So now I'm going to collect some old soil so we can cover this old compost here with soil so that the microorganisms will be trapped inside and they could have a good environment to digest and to degrade all our food. So here, this is where we have dumped our old compost before. So these are really rich. You can see our papaya is really well nourished with all this healthy compost soil. So later, after composting, we are going to dump them here again. So this is just a kind of primer to start our to give our microorganisms a good environment to digest. All right, so we can come back here. We can just go. Yeah. And if you have some old leaves at home or from your backyard, you can also collect them to cover your compost. So your freshly added food waste like fruit peelings. It's good. I don't know if we have some bones here, but it's nice if we can separate the bones from fish or chicken. Just totally fruits and vegetable cuttings or waste, your peelings and all this stuff. So it will be purely plant-based. So we have some old leaves here in the greenhouse. So you can also collect this stuff here. It's nice if you can collect this old leaves. So next week, when we have new batch of food waste, we will layer them up here. So there will be another layer. So when you cut a section here, if you go lengthwise, cross section, lengthwise section, so you will see several layers of food waste and then soil, some dry leaves that we have placed here in the past. So if this is filled, we will let it stay for several weeks until all the microorganisms have digested all the food waste, and while doing that, we will buy a new vat container and make a different, or put this in a different place where we can make another batch of compost until this has all the content has been degraded, and then we can just use them to fertilize our plants, and then we will just kind of alternate from this container and another container. So this is what we do to utilize all our food waste at home. We try to reduce as much waste as we can, so we try to utilize whatever waste we have so that we can make more use of them. So this is it. Try to have zero waste, and thank you so much for tuning in to Hill's Garden. Until next time.